Welcome to Love You Longmont. And one of the things I honestly love the most about Longmont is all the varieties of art. And in fact, the chalk fair is coming up. Now, who would thought that we would be saying that? Chalk is a very exciting medium because it's what they call sacrificial art. So Beryl, tell us when it is and where it is.
September 30th through October 1st on Longs Peak Avenue between Kaufman and Main Street.
All right, but there's more to it than just the event itself. What happens first?
So first we're going to be bringing in over 28 different artists to set up on the street doing that. They're going to be doing all of different forms of chalk art, so anything from 3D art to just your typical chalk art that you would see on the street. We have a couple people who are going to be exploring some new different things outside of the box. John Cross is talking about doing some metallic features to it, so we're interested to see how that plays out. And then we'll also have over 29 vending booths, so people can come and learn about different organizations, nonprofits, and businesses around town that are supporting arts and culture in our community, including Sticker Giant, which is really exciting. We'll have 2 food trucks. There will be a stage with entertainment throughout the day, and it's all thanks to Bin 46.
Oh, well, let's talk about Bin 46. What's your part in this event?
We decided to produce something fun for our community. It's been about 1.5 years in progress, and we're pretty excited.
1.5 years?
Yes.
That means there's a lot to it, right?
There's a lot to it.
So Bin 46 is right in the middle of it.
Yes, we're right on the street with Kaufman. We are one of the 2 corner inkers.
And is there a dinner beforehand?
There's a dinner on Saturday night. It's our farm to table pop-up dinner, where it's a ticketed dinner. The event itself is free for 2 days. But the ticketed dinner allows us to do a farm-to-table experience and a meet and greet with the artists themselves. It's a little more intimate experience.
So the people don't pop up, the food does, is
The
that
food
right?
does, yes.
So how does that work?
We do a quick transition from the artists throughout the day. In the evening at 6 o'clock, we have food stations and chefs and wine tasting and spirit vendors that will be on hand. And it's a movable feast. So you can take your glass of wine or cocktail and move throughout the exhibits and do a great meet and greet with the artists and get a little more, you can do a Q&A, you can talk to the artists, and it's a little more exciting for an individual to see just how much work goes into what's being produced on the street.
I'll bet. Well, Bin 46 is known for fine wines. Will there be great wines there?
We will have great wines, and we'll also have part of our silent auction is a wine pull. And the wine pull is a collection of fine wines that you, lottery style, can pull a cork and match a cork to a wine bottle, and it's a great gift.
Oh my goodness, how exciting. So the bottle's not going to be uncorked.
No.
You just pull the cork and it has a number on it. Gosh, it sounds like so fun. So that event, people really need to get tickets for ahead of time, is that correct? How can they get tickets, Beryl?
We have tickets in person, both at Bin 46 as well as at the Firehouse, and that's general admission and VIP tickets that are available, as well as online on Eventbrite. We also have a website, longmontchalkart.com.
And this is all through the Firehouse. And I'm sorry I didn't even mention that. Beryl's so obviously executive director of the Firehouse that I forgot to say you all are sponsoring it and you're producing it, and Bin
46 is producing the event and Firehouse is benefiting from it.
Well, thank you for clarifying that. You have a very special featured artist.
We do. Bryce Whittam, who travels throughout the state of Colorado and even the country doing chalk installations at restaurants and commissions for individuals. So we're really excited to have him a part of that.
We're so lucky that the PBS station in Denver, I believe it was, allowed us to have some of their videos. So let's go see Bryce.
One of the reasons I love working with chalk specifically is that it's like painting while drawing. Pretty much how I paint is whatever's most alive in me. Ends up going through me, sifting through, and then it comes out like this. Me drawing these people, these characters, who had something to teach me that I wanted to become in some way, and that actually helped to lead me, maybe parts of me that I'm a little leery of fully stepping into. I recently did a woman with a sword. There's a parallel in drawing, like having a sword and making lines in space. Just like every time that I make a mark like this, it's actually movement and it moves stagnancy. that is in me. Painting helps in so many ways. Where's the flow? Where's the movement in this creative act, this creative composition? It releases the contraction in me that has me so often getting headaches, so that if I keep the energy moving, there's a freedom in that. These chalkboards are all related to the season that we're in. Right here, there's going to be a lot of green coming up, and this is spring, and then flowers, buds going into full blossom, and then the phoenix and the fire is like the peak of summer. So that cycle of life, death, rebirth. Because the artwork is happening in accordance with this timing in nature and the seasons, then maybe it'll help all of us when we're on our phones and we're in this world and we have this schedule that is not exactly related to what's happening in nature. But part of my aspiration is that this could pull people into a different type of timing, nature timing. All these people who come and say that they experienced a really hard moment in their life while they were sitting at a table, like in a pub, and there's something about the artwork that allowed them to be with their experience in a more real way. Other people who have gotten engaged while that artwork was there, and it serves as a marker for them. So just the excitement and the joy and the inspiration that I hear when people are like, oh, you're that guy, that spark of life and that spark of a potential that wasn't there that now is in them, that's beautiful to me.
I think I saw a little bit of a self-portrait in one of those murals. Don't you think that was Bryce somewhere in there and fighting a tiger or something like that?
Pretty amazing.
We'll have to ask him about that. Candy, how did you get connected with this?
We have a really great space at Ben 46, and for the 2 years that we've been in that space, we have amazing wall space. So we've been working with a number of galleries for artists, specifically the Dark Room, which was a Main Street gallery. Julie Cardinal, the owner of the Dark Room, ended up curating our pieces for us for a year until she moved the darkroom permanently to Ben 46. Oh. So we've had a great experience by working with the artists, as well as having artist meet and greets in our space, which connected us again to Firehouse Art Center. And in doing so, like I said, showcasing what artists do in our community was pretty important for us. So we connected with Firehouse Art Center in producing this event, to give a forum to the artists for things that in our community, it's transient. Artists and their work comes and goes on walls, and sure. Without having a nice group of individuals that come and see that, with the exception of maybe Second Friday, you really want to draw attention to what kind of work is being done here. And some of the artists are phenomenal. I think it's pretty exciting for us to be able to participate.
Are almost all the artists chalk artists originally, or are they artists who do other things who are doing chalk for you?
Both. So everyone who is participating in this event are chalk artists on the street for this event. The artists might also have other forums and mediums that they enjoy, but specifically for this event, it will just be chalk on the street. But there are a number that do everything from oils to pottery to screen printing to, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see their work.
I also like the idea that you have food trucks on the street, because that also seems very street to me. So yes. Where did you find the food trucks?
Oh wow, food trucks are a great movement. Denver and Boulder area were instrumental in bringing that to the forefront. I think our community has such an array of food and vibrancy that a food truck kind of gets not noticed as much until you are standing right in front of one and think, wow, that's delicious. So I think it's nice for us to be able to showcase food in many different ways, because we're a restaurant. Yeah. And we love working with food trucks. We love working with the chefs.
Well, that's really neat. I love that kind of encouragement, because culinary art is an art. I think
absolutely.
Sometimes. I saw a movie on that once. Did you all see the movie Chef? Mm-hmm. Gosh, that was inspiring. Made everybody want to jump in a food truck. In fact, maybe that started the movement. Tell us again what time people should arrive to enjoy the food truck and the chalk art.
10 a.m. is the start of the event, Saturday and Sunday. Okay. Saturday is the start of the event, so you'll get to see artists as they're chalking off their block and getting from beginning to end. Sunday is the end of the event, so you'll see the final pieces.
And then what's interesting about chalk art is then it goes away.
Yes, that's the passionate part and the sad part. So within a few days it will be driven on and walked on and rained on, and you'll see just a change in what was something elegant and beautiful on your street will transform back into pavement.
It just goes back into the earth.
Yes.
We were so pleased that you set up a chalk artist for us to come and see, and we met Mario Jose Olvera, and he is a chalk artist, and he sort of walked us through doing chalk art. Let's see that. Mario Jose Olvera is a chalk artist, and we're going to get to see him do some work. But let's find out a little bit about you first. You didn't start as a chalk artist. What did you do first?
No, ma'am, I didn't start off as a chalk artist. I kind of dabbled around with urban calligraphy at first.
You mean graffiti writing?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That sounds so fun.
Yes.
That's a whole different thing to do, and it's really growing like mad. But you're not doing so much of that anymore.
No, ma'am, but what I like to do is I like to teach the graffiti basics to a lot of my teens in my teen programs. It's kind of what hooks the teens in. So from that, I kind of talk about street art in general and just how it's just a global language. It's everywhere around the world. So it speaks loudly to a lot of our teens and a lot of our adolescent youth. So
that's wonderful. You live here in Longmont.
Yes, ma'am.
We're glad you're here. You moved from Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
That's nice to have you here. Well, tell us about chalk art. How did you come to chalk art?
Chalk art, really, I had some background. I worked in a supermarket, actually. I worked at a supermarket where all their advertising and all of their sale signs were made out of chalk. And they found out that I could do chalk in less than 15 minutes. And so they made everything into a chalk board. So I was able to use traditional chalk, but we upgraded to liquid chalk. And so it allowed pieces to look brighter and fuller, and they also allowed for more time on the chalkboard without getting rubbed off and things like that. So I mixed the medium up a little bit, but still the same principles, chalk, black.
So after you discovered you were able to do this, then you discovered actually chalk drawings on the sidewalk.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Since a lot of chalk festivals around the world that inspire just researching chalk art, it's such a beautiful medium, and for it to be on the sidewalk and make it in public for the community, it's just a great way to integrate it all together, I believe. So yeah, chalk art is definitely one of those versatile mediums, I think.
Well, one of the things that's tough, I would think, about sidewalk chalk art is it's called sacrificial art. And that means you create a piece of art and then it's going to go away.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that hard?
No, ma'am, not at all.
No?
It's almost like so first of all, it's therapy. You know, the act of and the ability to kind of be in process and check out the progress of the work. It's really just a prayer for me to kind of meditate. It's a time to meditate. It's a time to really focus on things and maybe even draw out some conclusions on things that I've been thinking about from the past, you know, or it'll allow me to just plan things out a little bit better in my mind and my life, you know. It's a very therapeutic medium, like I said, so.
Sounds wonderful.
Yes.
And it sounds like it would be important for teenagers to know that as well.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's a good outlet for art in general. Is a really good outlet for kids, for teens. It's just just like I said, versatile, and the kids are able to submerge themselves in the medium, and they're able to get many different results out of it. Something realistic or something very cartoony and basic, you know. You can go either way with it. So.
Well, I'm so excited you're going to do a piece of art for us today.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Blessings.
I love that he had his children there. Addie and Yoli, and they're 7 and 4, and they were right in there making art with him. And they created what's called a mandala. And I guess it could evolve into any shape. And with chalk art, that's really exciting because it can spin and create something new. There's a class for children who are interested in taking chalk art.
That's right. So the Education Foundation for St. Vrain Valley School District has funded free chalk classes the entire month of September. Every single Saturday you can come in between 12 and 2 to check out our free chalk art classes with Mario, actually, which is exciting. And then the 2 weeks after the event, Bryce Whittam is actually going to be teaching 2 special advanced classes for free as well.
So what would qualify a person for an advanced chalk art class?
I'm guessing these would be individuals who attended the event, maybe some of the high school blocks, really focusing on that teen population, but anyone's invited to come, especially if they have more of a in-depth interest into learning more. Bryce is really going to get into the more details of the work.
And because it's been funded, people don't have to pay for the class?
That is correct. It is free for all students who attend.
What's the youngest student who could come?
The youngest age we will accept is 5, so it's 5 and up.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yep.
And they don't have to bring their own chalk?
They don't. We provide all of the supplies.
How do you do this during the festival? Because the expenditure on chalk could be immense for these artists. How will this be done during the fair?
So we have lots of sponsorship opportunities, and for $250 you can sponsor a chalk artist, and we provide all of the supplies for them during the event.
Well, that's wonderful. And they have to bring things like knee pads.
Knee pads, correct.
How long does it take them to make a piece of art, do you know?
Well, this is going to be hours of grueling work. For 2 days straight they're going to be working on those, so 8+ hours.
That's so exciting that you all are bringing this. This is the first time for this.
That is correct.
Here.
Yeah.
Now, Candy, there are some things that Longmont does wonderfully, but we've lost a couple events during the past couple of years. How does this fill in the gap for that?
I think we've had a number of really great, I think over a decade of events that have brought in the community and brought in artists and brought in a lot of everyone. And it's nice to see that Longmont is such a community that embraces a lot of diversity and a lot of opportunity for people to come together. But we have lost some of our festivals. One was Festival on Main Street. So for us, it's a huge gap to fill. Particularly when we talk about art in public places and the art community here. Unless you're going to Second Friday and you're gallery hopping, you might not see all of the immense work going on here and showcasing the artists that are pretty phenomenal. So we've opted to create something to fill that gap that is more of an art in public places, but it's temporary. So you know that's 2 days and then it's gone again. So, but it's also pretty impactful. Like you get to see the artists doing their work. You get to see them from beginning to end, and that's been going on for hundreds of years in other countries. So in Italy, a chalk art festival or a chalk art in the street was pretty commonplace. You would have artists producing their work in front of the public in hopes of receiving tips. So for us, we're showcasing art, and we've missed out. We've missed out on how you can visually see an artist creating their work. And unless you're in their studio, and you have open studio tours as well, so you can watch an artist engage in their work. It's pretty interesting, and it's a lost art.
I would think these artists are somewhat different, though, from a traditional studio artist. These aren't the same people we've seen.
Correct. These are more of the busker style artists.
Yes,
when you think about that street art that really is unheard of. Maybe you might go to Pearl Street and see guitarists, but you don't typically see like an artist working on the street busker style, looking for tips and donations, whatever that might be. So this is really our opportunity to say this is a form of art that we appreciate, and we want them to be involved in our community. And so we're really excited to have tons of support from downtown Longmont to make it possible.
So do you think people who come to this need to bring tips?
No.
No, but it is a great way to get engaged with Firehouse Art Center and kind of get an idea of what they really do for the community. They've been around for
31 years now.
Wow, 31 years before you were born.
With their programs and what they service, this is a great opportunity for us to showcase what that is and do that sort of meet and greet with Firehouse themselves. And we love the idea that, I mean, we have to be cheerleaders too for all those artists out there. So other forms of art that will be on display is live music. We have our farm to table dinner, so we showcase all of the local farms that we like to work with at the restaurant. And Buckner Family Farms is one of our favorites, so it's ways to embrace who we get to work with as well. So art that's on display is the chalk artists, the musicians that are playing all day long. We even have the young ones playing, as well as groups that are well known.
Oh, that's fun.
And definitely the food stations having farm to table and the movable
Well, let's
feast.
talk about farm to table.
Sure.
What do you mean by that?
For us, farm to table is we take our food very seriously, and we love what we produce and put on plates at the restaurant. And we have the luxury of working with so many local farms here. We visit farmers market every Saturday to hand select what we like to work with. We select our heirloom tomatoes, and it really does matter what we put on our plate. We do that as our form of expression for art at the restaurant. Our chefs love the hands-on. There's not a whole lot that comes in that we don't produce. And
That's neat.
we love to work with, like I said, there's a number of local farms. Olin Farms has been around for a really long time.
Right.
And we love working with Kenna. And we have Buckner Family Farms. That's where we source our lamb and our beef.
Wow.
7X Farms is new to our mix, and they have our Wagyu beef that, it's like, when you know where your food comes from, you're proud to exhibit that on a plate.
Well, that's really neat. And it combines so well with the artists.
Yes.
So tell us again, if somebody wants to come to the dinner, it's the night before, is that right?
It's the
Am I
Saturday
right?
night, so the event is Saturday and
Oh, I
Sunday.
see. I get it.
That Saturday night, where they're halfway through, so you're seeing them halfway through the finished product. That Saturday night's the best meet and greet chance and opportunity to see them in progress.
Right.
It's not quite complete, but you're getting pretty inspired with what you see.
Yeah.
And so Saturday night is the pop-up dinner, the farm to table dinner at 6 to 10.
But people really need to reserve for that.
Yes,
You
correct.
kind of have to know how much food to prepare.
Exactly.
So they reserve through you, and
They can purchase tickets at both of our locations and then online as well on our website,
and
longmontchalkart.com.
how much are tickets so people can mentally prepare?
$45 for
Okay.
general admission. VIP is $125, which gives them exclusive access to bin 46 and private restrooms and a VIP gift bag.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Sounds sort of fancy.
Yeah.
It sounds like such fun. I like this idea very much because it has two levels. It has a level that's almost like a sponsor level, and that goes to the Firehouse. Is that right?
Yep, proceeds benefit the Firehouse, correct.
And then there's a very street level. So anyone can come for free during the day.
Correct.
That's so exciting. Do you think people will be inspired, and are you hoping that they'll want to start doing chalk art?
Yeah, I think that would be the goal at the end of the day. And hopefully to bring it back next year with even bigger name chalk artists and more community involvement at all different levels.
You want to talk about the kids corner?
Oh,
So we have a
yeah.
special section just for kids for their freehand style. So they're not assigned to the Chalk Art Festival as a block artist, but they do have a very large block to work with in small chunks, like a patchwork quilt.
Yep. So we're gonna section off kind of a mosaic piece where kids can each choose their own square and build that out. And at the end of the festival, one of our favorite things that's gonna be happening is we have a drone that's gonna fly overhead and take photos of the finished product.
Oh, that is so exciting. It
So-
probably will look like a patchwork quilt.
Yes.
And children who do that, do they need to sign up ahead of time?
They don't?
Would it
show
help
up.
though if they had taken the classes?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yeah. Tell us again the time and place for classes.
So classes is every Saturday at the Firehouse Art Center from September 9th through the 23rd, and they can come between 12 and 2.
And they just show up.
And they can show up. We do have registration online through Eventbrite. If they want to learn more, they can go to our website, firehouseart.org.
And Mario's going to lead those.
That's
and
correct.
we met him doing a mandala at the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah, but then afterwards, after the event, you
Bryce is going to be doing 2 special classes the following Saturdays, the next 2 Saturdays after that in October.
and where would that be?
That's at the Firehouse as well.
And on the outside, on the...
Nope, they'll be doing it inside on their own chalkboard pieces that they can take home to their
how
families.
wonderful. Is there any way to preserve a chalk piece? I guess it would be like pastels that artists use, wouldn't it?
Correct. Yeah, so the chalk that they actually use are chalk pastels, and so they'll you know, do their piece, and you can spray it with shellac to help preserve the piece, but typically, as long as it's not touched, it should be okay. It'll last quite a while.
That's really neat. And this is all happening, the preview is the 23rd, no,
September 30th through October 1st.
okay, good.
From
Thank you.
10 to 6 on Saturday, 6 to 10 is the dinner, the pop-up dinner on September 30th, and October 1st from 10 to 4.
And what's the website address?
LongmontChalkArt.com.
Okay, and they can come to Bin 46, or they can come to the Firehouse to get tickets to the special event, special dinner.
Correct.
Thank you all so much. This was so interesting. We're going to run right outside and do something in chalk, right? We would also like to thank, this gourd bowl is by Carol Ann Chambliss, and the work behind you is called Old Friends, and it's by Joan Jordan, and they are Longmont artists, and we're very pleased to have them. So thank you all for being with us, and we will see you next time on Love You Longmont.
Thank you.